Hey everyone, Couch Investor back with another video for today. So let's talk about Block. It's been a while. Well, besides the video where I said I added last week, obviously the stock is down 12% since then. Yay. But first I want to touch on the community post I wrote. I really want to thank everyone for the support lately. Obviously it's not easy for anyone in the current market situation, but I'm here. I'll keep creating videos to inform you guys on, well, all the companies we cover on this channel. Not going to hide like many others YouTubers have been doing when the market went south. So really want to thank everyone for the support. Now let's talk about Block, because we've had a downgrade from an analyst that has been extremely bullish for a long time. There's also another downgrade, so we're going to talk about all of that, but I also want to reiterate what makes Square, Block, the whole ecosystem great. Last quarter, me personally, I liked it very much. Obviously, the stock is down, but the business itself, as you can see here from the highlights, it's doing quite well, even in the current market situation. Yes, of course, there is this issue, well, smallish issue, but a big issue. If it continues that way, it's the net income loss. Now, free cash flow, yes, it's free cash flow positive, but net income has been negative for 3 quarters in a row. Well, 4 quarters if you look at Q3, which was basically flat. But all the rest, gross profit on a 3-year CAGR, 47%, year-over-year growth, 29%. That's good in this current market. Square gross profit growing quite well. Cash App gross profit, same thing here. Then adjusted EBITDA is still positive. Now, also from an international standpoint, remember Square, well, the whole ecosystem is not that big internationally. Yes, it is growing, which is great. But again, there is this, let's say, red flag for the future of the company. If, let's say, Cash App, maybe with the help of Afterpay, it could not penetrate a market like Europe, for example. Yes, we've talked about Africa. We've talked about Jack's obsession with Bitcoin and all the conferences in Africa, etc., which is something, again, we're going to talk about later because, well, I do still think that Jack is a bit of a, let's say, drag on the company. I know a lot of people disagree, but it's just the case. But I had a little listen to a podcast where basically he's focused on the Bitcoin and Tidal side of things, whereas the CFO and the 2 guys from Afterpay are focused on the other side of the whole ecosystem, which is great to hear because, again, I don't really trust Jack anymore. I trusted him a lot at the start because he was much less focused on Bitcoin and all of that, more focused on the mission for Square. But now to hear that, I'm a bit more, let's say, relaxed, but still, I think could be that he might be replaced as CEO in the coming years. Let's wait and see. Now, international. So they showed us last quarter that gross profit in markets outside of the United States is now 13% of Square gross profit. But as you can see, it has been growing tremendously throughout the years. Basically, well, look at that, double that from last year. Now, it obviously gets some contribution from the Buy Now Pay Later platform. So it says here, excluding the Buy Now Pay Later platform, Square gross profit in markets outside the United States was $67 million, representing 10% of Square gross profit. And I'll repeat myself, Afterpay is definitely going to help them with the presence outside of the United States. Now, when it comes to valuation, obviously the stock, well, it's crazy. It's down close to 80% in the last year. But as it comes to valuation, you can see, well, it's as cheap as it was, well, forever. If you look at price to sales ratio in the next 12 months, under 2 times. Last 12 months, just over 2 times. Is obviously price to free cash flow. PE is still high because, well, earnings has been hit in the last couple of quarters. That should improve over time. Well, they don't really have a choice. But they did say that they are reducing, well, CapEx by around, I think, 450 million. So that should definitely help. Now, there is also another negative point, and that's obviously the total stock-based compensation that has been growing. But again, this is the case when a acquisition and a merger is happening. So let's see how long that will drag on because, well, as we've seen with Teladoc, with other companies, it can take a while until those get down. And now before we go and look at the downgrades, if you want to support me and this channel, do check out the link down in the description below to get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to full.com/couchinvestor and make sure to check out all the other links in the pinned comment. So the first one is from Mizuho Dan Dolev, a very, very long time bull on the company on, well, basically everything fintech. So he downgraded to neutral from buy with a price target of $57, down from $125. So he basically says no upside from the price today. After years of rightfully being deemed the most innovative name in payments, user fatigue, plateauing inflows, loss of the best of breed point of sale status, and buy now pay later misexecution, I mean, the merger, it just happened. So maybe give them time when it comes to that. So he says that's blocking Block's growth. The company still has enormous potential, but it is not being realized. He believes Block shares no longer deserve a premium valuation relative to the US payment sector. Well, as we've just seen, they don't really have that much of a premium valuation anymore. And he also said in the research notes something about Jack, that, well, the trust in Jack is basically a bit gone. And I think that's just a general consensus. Then we had another downgrade from SMBC Nikko to neutral from Outperform and a price target of $70, down from $120. The analyst believes a lack of visibility into the market as a whole is testing investor patience around accepting Block strategy, particularly now that the pandemic and stimulus payments are a thing of the past. The analyst says that with no fiscal year or medium-term guide, modeling 23-24 is more difficult in the case of Block than nearly any other name in his coverage. Okay, so just because it's difficult to him to model does not mean that the company will not execute correctly. And then the last thing I want to show you is that Adyen, the payment processing company from the Netherlands, partners with Cash App to offer Cash App Pay. This is a big, big deal in my opinion, because businesses working with Adyen will have access to Cash App Pay as an integrated payment method for their US customers. The payment method will be available online shortly and in-store next year. Think of it as a Stripe type of platform, but a bit different, and it's publicly traded, so you can check out their financials. Now, obviously, I want to make something extremely clear. The market environment does not favor a company like Square. High inflation, people spending less, maybe obviously not investing that much, maybe not trading Bitcoin on Cash App, etc. It's not very favorable for the company. On the other side, if a company, if a store, restaurant, hotel, doesn't matter, want to cut costs, maybe they look into adopting software, hardware from Square because it definitely helps their business. There's also the loan part of the business, the Square Capital, buy now, pay later. There is also some risk attached to it. But as we've talked about in the supercut from the Investor Day, if you missed that, it's going to be in the top right corner. A lot of information in that video. We know that, well, plus 90% of the payments are on time, less than, I think, a month or a year if it comes to Square Capital. Not 100% sure on that, so I'll correct myself when I edit the video. But overall, even if the market right now is not favorable to a company like Square, how long are we going to stay in the current market environment? Not a couple of months, half a year, maybe a year? Are you buying a company like Block for a year in your portfolio, or are you buying it for the long term? It's a question only you can answer. I'm holding it for a long, long time. It's been in my portfolio for a couple of years already. It's number 2 position, so keep holding it. Yes, I still have doubts about Jack, but I'm 100% confident that, well, the CFO and the 2 guys from Afterpay are going to do a great job and let Jack just figure it out with Bitcoin and his tidal play. But overall, that's that for this video. Obviously, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.